Yo.
How's it going?
Happy Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Judge James.
I'm Judge Evie.
This is Living for Crits, not in the Dungeon Tavern.
Really?
Second show in a row. Well, second stream in a row because I did a stream on Thursday, a review. But this is interesting. This is still in the Master Suite. Hit a camera malfunction with the new PC. I apparently bought a camera that has just walleye vision.
Or fishies.
And it looks garbage. So we're going to come up here tonight as I wait for my new, what is that, Logitech? I don't know what it is. It's a better one. It's like 3 times the cost of the other one. Hey, Greg. So this is going to be an interesting night. For all kinds of reasons. Just a reminder to be positive.
Yeah.
And we're going to be positive tonight and not talk too much sass on other games, notably 5e. Mm-hmm. But it's another DCC themed evening for the most part because it's how things roll. We have some big news this week in that Judge Evie
it's me.
is officially Judge Evie yet again because
I've been that.
Well, you're officially Judge Evie because you're back to running the games and you are running your very first campaign now.
I know, it's weird.
Really weird. Tonight's show is all about Judge Evie and her new Xcrawl DCC campaign.
Yup.
So we're gonna that's our news. So let's go into Judge Evie Presides. And
wow, we're within Judge Evie Presides. It's only been 2 minutes.
I know, we're moving fast this week. So hey Dev, Judge Evie Presides is the section of the show where you guys can send questions to us. Yeah. Mainly to Evie, and then she attempts to read them and answer them, and then she can't, so she hands it off to me.
Yeah, that's accurate.
You can always email questions to dccjudgeevie@gmail.com.
Do that.
And whatever, we're always here. Not always here. We're not always here in the house.
Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Right now we are. Yeah,
well, actually, I have practice.
You leave occasionally, and I go to work.
Yeah, so you get out from time to time.
Time to time.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Anyway.
Get the questions.
The first one is from Brian, again. And it's still in Australia. I don't think yet, because he was still there.
Correct.
I don't think he was quarantined to just to leave.
No.
Good day, Judge Evie and Judge James. Not out of quarantine yet. We get released in 2 days.
It's not Australian accent.
Yes, it is. What accent is this?
It's not Australian. Go
ahead.
What
does it sound like?
I don't know.
Questions for your consideration. Have you ever used the spell dual rules in DCC, and if so, how did they go?
We've spell duels. You know, they always sound awesome, and they kind of are, but they're kind of tough because they can bog down real fast.
This is true.
I don't think we've used it in any of our games for the
so.
Kids or the tweens. The teens.
We're not tweens, we're teens.
I've used them a few times, and they can be an interesting challenge at the table. Make sure you've read them ahead of time so you really understand them. And there is a really good episode of Spellburn that goes through exactly how a spell duel works. So if you...
That's ironic.
Why?
Because it's called Spellburn and talk about spells.
That's the podcast Jen Brinkman's on.
I know.
Okay. But yeah, I would listen to that podcast about 3 times and then fully understand how they work.
The whole podcast 3 times?
That like the entire episode.
Like, is it like okay.
There's a lot of episodes.
If you would you call it like all the episodes a show? Because it's all the episodes.
It's a podcast.
Like, would it be a season or would it be like an album?
They don't really do seasons. It's a podcast.
But like, is it an album?
It's a podcast.
But like,
it's its own thing.
But a podcast has multiple episodes.
It doesn't have to. It can just have shows.
But would you call them shows or episodes?
I would call it a podcast.
No, but like, is it? But like, okay, so like a season, it's a season of a show, but the show's got a title, so it would be the second season of Spellburn's podcast.
There's no seasons. It's just a podcast.
But what if you?
Why are we hung up on this?
I don't know.
Why can't we move on?
I don't know.
Let's progress.
Okay.
Before we lose viewers.
Fine.
That don't want to hear us talk about this.
When running DCC for a small party, 2 people, and that's in parentheses. Oh shoot, where'd it go? How many zero levels should they start within a funnel? Do we need to start with more since we only have 2 folks playing and expect heavy casualties? Cheers, Brian. Like, well, you just usually start with 4, right? Because if a person has to handle more than 4 characters, that could get a little, like, if you have to keep track.
It can get a little you're right.
If you have to keep track of 5 or 6 character sheets.
It can get a little
That would be like a hot mess.
It would be. I would suggest still doing 4 0 levels per player and ratchet down the difficulty a bit. And then...
Or ramp it up and just give them new ones.
Well, or keep it the same difficulty and give them new ones because they're going to chew through them.
That's also a good idea.
Have lots of places inside the adventure where they can uncover new characters.
Yeah.
So if you're doing Sailors in a Starless Sea, maybe as they free different segments of the keep, they find hostages being kept by the Beastmen. Maybe in Frozen in Time, as they go through the frozen... lab station and for the time traveler, maybe they find encased in ice or in cryopods different prisoners. So some options.
Or if you don't have any of those, just say they popped out of a bush.
Yeah, just any old bush.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what you used to do.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Good questions.
Bushes are great. So those are Brian's. And next is Greg's, but it's not really a question. It's kind of just a...
Dev says, I found the multiple sheet problem to be especially difficult when playing online. I just to go back to with Dev's point here, you're right, it can be. And having run several funnels online in recent weeks and getting ready to run another funnel in a few weeks online, I find it's helpful as a GM. I don't have one here. As a GM, I write down every single character name. So I write down player, and then there are 3 or 4 characters. I usually give 3 0 level characters, unless I think it's going to be especially dicey. So each player name, each character name, which I'll cross up as we go through. So as a GM, I make sure I have all of the players and their characters written down. And I will switch the scenes back and forth from when they choose one character to act or they choose multiple characters to act. Like, if I don't want things to bog down, I may occasionally say something like, okay, this encounter is you're going to have your main character. You pick which character is acting in this encounter. It's not going to be all 3 or 4 of them. And maybe I say that with the idea that the other characters are fighting too. It's just they aren't fighting. It's off screen. So, all right, continue. This is Greg's non-question.
This is just called Chamber in a Pot.
This is a scene. I think Greg sent us a scene.
Oh. I was really confused. How should I read it? Like, should I be super
I think you should read it now. As you've met Greg, you should read. And come on the first anniversary of meeting Greg, which will be in a week or 2.
I don't remember what Greg sounds like.
Sure you do.
There were a lot of people
Greg
in
said
that
it's a
room.
magic item. Just read the question.
There were a lot of people in that room, and I could not tell. Read it. Fine, okay. I'm trying to get the tones right. Wait.
Just read it.
Because, I can't go down here.
Do that.
Because, this is, too low.
No, do it.
Is this too low?
No, it's fine. Read the question.
No, it's fine. Read the question. You take going in your throat for that kind of voice. A 1-gallon copper kettle with handles on each side and a tight-fitting lid. Removing the cover reveals the pot. Contains 2 miniature armchairs with a small table between them. They face a tiny fireplace with blazing logs, ensuing a warm glow. Pronouncing the activation phrase, warm woolen mittens up to 2 individuals can enter the chamber in a pot for an hour of leisurely conversation. And then they return to the world outside. They will be rested as if having slept for 8 hours. The pot can be activated only once every 24 hours. If anyone ever relieves themselves in the kettle, the fireplace will be extinguished and the magic fails forever.
That was fun.
That was great.
Like some weird spoken word beatboxing thing going on there. I like it. Does he ever leaves himself in the kettle?
Yeah.
Pees in the kettle?
Yeah.
Who's gonna pee in the kettle?
That's so mean to the poor
Don't
kettle.
pee in your magical items,
Don't
people.
do that.
It's not good.
Nope.
You don't want to pee in your magic. Even if it's a magical chamber pot, don't pee in it.
No peeing allowed.
That would be an interesting magical item, a magical chamber pot that always empties itself.
That would. Is that what that said? I don't know what that really described. I just was reading it.
It was a kettle pot.
It was?
I don't know if it was a chamber pot. It was a pot. People peed in anything back in the old days.
I thought just peed on the ground.
They did that too.
Oh.
But a
In
chamber
a bush.
pot, that's also possible. All right. Well, you know where to send us your questions.
That's true.
dccjudgeevie@gmail.com, and perhaps if you send us a magical item, we'll beatbox to the magical
That
item.
should be a whole new thing on our show.
Just send us a magical item for us to...
Yeah, that should be a whole like segment on our show. Magical beatboxing.
All right, let's move on to Judge Evie's new Xcrawl campaign. It's been a long time coming, and we'll see how far it goes. But for the very first time, Judge Evie is running a campaign, which
Crazy.
It is nuts.
It's a first.
You know, it's
Lifetime.
a weird swing of things downstairs. As I have prepared to run Nebin Pendlebrook's Perilous Pantry for Cooper as a solo module.
That's so weird.
And it's an adventure that you...
That was my first adventure.
Yeah, and it's an adventure that I'm running now, and you're doing a campaign.
Wow.
It's pretty awesome.
How the tables have turned.
Yep.
Ooh.
So let's question from the audience. We're going to hold off on that one for a second, okay? So let's talk first about what is the campaign you're running. Give us a rundown. Give us an elevator pitch.
I'm not good at those.
We'll do it anyway.
This is going to be the wordiest thing you've ever heard.
This
is going to be a good Evie explanation.
Give us the Evie explanation of what you're running.
Okay. So imagine you're in high school. Remember back to those days. If you're not in high school anymore. Or if you're still in high school, remember though, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay. So you're in high school, right? And you get roped down to, like, what should I give? Like, what kind of pitch am I giving? Like, what, like...
Tell them what the campaign's about. Like, what are the player characters doing?
Well, what if one of them's watching and I give a spoiler away?
I don't think anyone's watching.
That's true. They always forget we have these now.
Yeah, just tell our viewers what it's about.
Okay, so...
We lost a viewer because we were stalling.
Great. Okay, so... you're in high school and you're like told to join this like quiz bowl club by the principal, and he offers all this stuff to you, like you should join the club. And so you join the club, right? And you get sent on a bus to the club like place, you know? But when you get there, you're forced to like battle and like die against your own will. What did you do? What?
Snapchat.
Oh.
Keep reading.
You interrupted me. But yeah, then you have to fight. And that, can I keep going? Or is like no one's watching, right?
No one's watching. No one from your thing's watching. I don't know why I said reading. You're coming with us on your own.
True. So then, should I just give an overview of what's gonna happen next?
So the feel of the campaign is it's DCC Xcrawl in high school, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like the opening of Lemonade Mouth.
And does it take place in modern times?
Yeah.
But the character classes you went with were traditional DCC characters?
Yeah.
So what do you have at the table? Who's in it?
Okay, I'll pull it up. I have it all listed here. See, because it's usually like humans, right? But like, it's like
in a regular high school, yes.
Yeah, but it's like other people are mixed in. So it's not like, it's like their parents have traveled here.
If you're not familiar with what Xcrawl is, but you're pulling those up.
Yeah.
Xcrawl is a game by Brendan LaSalle. It was originally for Pathfinder, or I think D&D 3rd edition or 3.5. It was a third-party product, and it essentially is where it's a modern dystopian game, maybe slightly in the future, where magic is real and dungeon crawling is a sport. So you got to think of it kind of like Smash TV meets The Running Man, meets a little bit of Blade Runner, meets Dread. At least I ran it with a Dread feel to it, because we ran earlier this summer and end of spring. Our first campaign during COVID that we played in was an Xcrawl campaign with the Shrubs. So as Dev calls it, classic quiz bowl turned bloodbath switcheroo. Very, very accurate.
Yeah, all of the not parents, all the adults are having a secret, like, we're gonna steal children and make them fight for us.
Brutal.
Yeah. Anyway, so should I just go over all the peoples?
Just briefly, yeah. Who are the characters and what
Okay.
character class are they? And maybe leave out the fact how many of them are druggies. Because apparently the Saint of the Drugs thing didn't go well with your friends.
No, it did not. So we have Riley, the really angry halfling person. That's played by John. And she basically swears out everyone that calls her short.
Fair.
Yeah. And then we have Tia, the to not be named mentioned person. That's, I'm pretty sure, an elf.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She's an elf. No, they're an elf. Bab confused me because Bab was switching. Okay, anyway. Next, we have Bryony, who
is it Brian E, or is that one name?
It's Bryony.
Bryony?
Bryony.
Okay.
Bryony.
Bryony.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when you're a little bit Brian, but not a lot Brian. You're just a little Bryony.
Yeah, Bryony Lynch. That's their name.
Okay.
And they're a warrior.
Yeah.
I think.
You told me it's Maggie's character, right?
No, that's Sarah's character.
Oh, it's a warrior?
Yeah, because Sarah rolled really bad stats, and so I had to let her re-roll them because she got like a 5 strength, and she was a warrior, and so I let her re-roll them.
That was very nice of you.
Then we have Maggie, who is playing a character who has no defining characteristics, and she has no name yet. That's it.
What's the class?
Elf?
Okay.
I think, yeah, because Maggie literally put as her Zoom name, no defining characteristics.
Nice.
And she won't tell anybody her
What's
name.
Eli playing?
Eli is also a to not be named person named Booker.
Wait, to not be named?
Yeah, look.
Oh, another druggie.
Yeah.
Is that also an elf? Oh, that's an Eli. My bad.
Eli is Booker the thief.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then we have Ella.
That's right. Ella's in the game, yeah.
Ella's in the game now. 6 people here. Who is River Strader. I think I said that right. And he's a Redditor.
That's the class, is a Redditor?
Also, wait, let's see. He's a cleric.
Gotcha.
And
so,
I don't know who the god is yet.
Do you feel challenged having 6 players?
I mean, they all talk over each other, so it's kind of sitting there. And
that could be tough. 6 players is tough even for a seasoned GM. And it's tough when you have friends because they're all going to want to be a part of the game, and you can't really say, oh, it's too many people, so you're going to cut somebody out.
They're all also a bunch of teenagers.
In game and in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that also presents a challenge. What was the inspiration, besides the fact that you're running an Xcrawl game, what was the inspiration for the campaign?
Riverdale.
And Lemonade Mouth, or mostly Riverdale?
Riverdale and a bunch of other random Disney Channel original movies.
Gotcha.
Also
Tall Girl?
Not Tall Girl. That's not Disney. That's not Disney.
Okay.
That's Disney. That's not Disney. It's Netflix. Also, Eli likes role-playing best in high school.
Gotcha.
And Eli and Ella want an excuse to play with their characters that they make.
Oh, are these characters of theirs from
No, I told them they can't do that because they get too obsessed. Oh, apparently last night they had a private Zoom chat going of them just role-playing as their new characters of the game.
Nice.
Just between them.
Well, that could be interesting to have them that involved in their characters.
Yeah, and then
that could be cool.
Was then at the end of the game, they were like, yeah, we've been talking this whole time, and they were like, and other people were like, what? You aren't allowed to do that. And they're like, well, we did. Because they were blowing up the main Zoom chat. It's a whole thing.
What challenges do you see going forward with running a campaign? This being your first campaign, do you feel like there's additional stress on you right now?
I mean, well, people are talking about starting their own game, so they're probably all going to quit at some point and go to theirs. They're
already talking about starting their own games?
Yeah. And they're already oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
What? Sucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your plan if people leave then?
I'll find new people.
Is it more
It'll
challenging?
be fine.
Is it more challenging to run games for your friends like this, or to go to Gen Con and run games for people you don't know?
It depends on the game, because if it's like a game I actually want to be involved in, then it's like I'd rather do with people I like. But like if it's like Gen Con, like the only DCC game I ran at Gen Con, that was actual DCC, two of the players just up and left.
But the ones that stayed had a good time.
Yeah, but like still people left.
Yeah.
So that's like the downside of having people you don't know, because they're unpredictable.
You know, I have to say, as when I was a young gamer in my early teens, I remember the challenge of trying to get and form a great gaming group. And it wasn't until I was, I guess, in college that I realized that sometimes it was my junior year in high school. I'm sorry, it was junior year. So
you were in Eli.
I was in Eli, and the first few years of gaming, I invited my best friends to game, and every year the thing was you would run a new campaign every year, and every single year,
Like every New Year's you'd switch?
every new school year we would switch campaigns. That was I'd run whatever I ran through the year. So in 8th and 9th grade, in 8th grade I ran a lot of game called Spelljammer, which was a D&D game. It was like D&D in space. In 9th grade I ran something kind of similar. There were I think it was the same characters. In 10th grade I ran Dark Sun, which was
Is that Dark Harder shirt you have?
Yeah, the Darker Sun, Dark Harder shirt. But the point is that in 10th grade, I kind of realized that running games with just my bestest of friends sometimes was a challenge because, one, they were there more for the chatting, and two, they were disruptive sometimes because they didn't take it as serious as I did, but some friends did. So what I did my junior year, which was probably my best year of gaming in high school, I think, was in my junior year, I just went to the people who were the best gamers that I knew, and I formed a party, and we didn't tell the rest of the players that I was doing that, and I just said, I'm not running games right now, and I made this like awesome
You were like
group.
the Midnight Club.
But here's the thing, okay?
In Riverdale. They had secret D&D games going.
Here's the thing, though. Like, that group of A-list, A-team players became, like, one of the highest quality gaming groups.
Wait, do I know any of the people that run it?
I'm trying to think here. My friend Trevor was in it. My friend, oh my gosh. I'm just, like, TJ was in it. My friend, I had a lot of good folks in that game. My friend Abby was in it. It was a really, really good, solid group. And sometimes it was just easier to play with them. And I wasn't as good of friends with them at first. They weren't like my best friends at first. But honestly, we got closer as the game went on. And I don't know. Not to say you can't find, your game's not going to work. And you just got to... Even when I think your friends, you have a lot of friends that like creative people. I can see them wanting to have their own things, but just run your game, see how it goes, take notes. I've had campaigns only last 3 or 4 sessions. I've had campaigns last 30 or 40 sessions. The only advice I could give is run as long as you want to run it for, and then if you have people drop out, keep going, and if you have to put a new group together, put a new group together, you know? The cool thing is it's online now. It's so easy to find gamers, and you could always recruit different people into it.
That's true.
So, well, it's great to see you are gaming, and one of my proudest moments was, the fact that you started a campaign. Even if Riverdale, I know nothing about it, it's something pretty cool that you are doing something with your friends like that. So,
yay!
So hats off to Judge Evie. There was a question here from Dev. How are you doing travel in your campaign?
What does that mean?
How are they traveling about, like from Xcrawl to Xcrawl? Is it just taking place in one dungeon, or is it like different stages? How are you doing that?
It's all on like a big stadium.
Okay.
So, and they get there by school bus.
Death school bus.
Yeah.
Dev says Midnight Society, nice. I had to stop my Blades in the Dark campaign or game for those same reasons. I guess in friends or I don't know. I'm not sure which reasons you're pointing to, Dev, but we listed a few. Rob says Dark Sun is amazing. You should run Dark Sun. And Dr. Moggs was late. That's okay.
Yes, yes. Okay.
All right. Well, I think we'll be excited to hear if you get more stuff run this year, and
God, next week it's the first actual battle.
It'll be fine. You'll be fine.
It'll be great.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to move on to the next segment of the show with a Kickstarter Shoutout. So, Heroes of the Cypher System is out. When disaster strikes or menace looms, the best among us don't run from danger, they run towards it. It's a direct blurb from Monty Cook Games. They say, Heroes of the Cypher System Kickstarter campaign brings the high-flying, power-packed action and excitement of superheroes, as well as heroes from our world, to the critically acclaimed fan-favorite Cypher System game system. So, it's Cypher Supers, and it's Cypher, rescue heroes. I think, when I see it, the superheroes is superheroes. That seems pretty clear. The other game they have is you're playing paramedics and firefighters. It's a non-combat based heroes game, but with real heroes. So the whole idea being to not, fighting fires and I guess being doctors. I could see a medical procedural kind of thing. That'd be interesting. So that Kickstarter's live right now. I think it's crest $100,000. It's going on for a few more weeks. So check that out. For Road Crew shoutouts, first off, give us your events. If you've got Road Crew events coming up and you want to share them, we'd love to talk about them.
We would.
The Road Crew is typically for Goodman Game stuff, which while it is our game of choice, we are not against talking about anything else out there that you want to get players to. So please email those to dccjudgevie@gmail.com and we'll add those as well. But this week, we are linking our Road Crew shoutouts and our featured organization for good, as we're, making a press to take the Senate back, or at least take it back from the control of a deplorable turtle demon. So what we're doing this week, and this is for December 5th and 6th, Judge Will Keller, also featured recently on the Goodman Games Roadworthy. We have put together a little thing called flipcon.org. You can go check it out at flipcon.org. And this is... essentially, we are running games that weekend to support, to help raise money and support the two Democratic candidates in the Georgia runoff election. So it works pretty easily. You just, GMs can schedule games. They get their players to make donations. They make the admission ticket a proof of donation provided to them to either the campaign of John Ossoff or Reverend Raphael Warnock. We'll put the links in the show notes. These are the two Democratic candidates for the runoff on, I think it's January 5th. And the GM or DM or judge can set a minimum donation, but does not take any money in. There's just proof of donation has to be given, whether it's a screenshot, or screenshot really works best, or an email saying that person gave a donation to one of those campaigns. Some GMs may offer some kind of in-game perks for donations for specific amounts, but that's not really anything we're worried about. Like if you get bonus luck for giving the highest amount to your folks. And it doesn't matter which campaign, if you prefer one candidate over the other. And you can donate to campaigns out if you're not a resident of Georgia. However, you have to be a resident of the United States, a U.S. citizen or a lawfully admitted permanent resident, aka a green card holder, to donate into either of those campaigns. So unfortunately, this is not something for international viewers or players, but it should be interesting. I'm running DCC Hole in the Sky by Brendan LaSalle from 12 to 4. And I have 4 open seats still. I've had 2 players sign up. I may have another couple players joining in, so grab the seats while you can. All right, well, where can folks find us online, Evie?
They can find us at I Live for Crits on Twitter, Living for Crits on Instagram, and search Living for Crits on YouTube.
There is no Thursday night review this week because it's Turkey Day. But that said, we'll be back probably the week after. Well, we'll be back next Sunday with Living for Crits. with
Nope.
some Thanksgiving discussion. We'll have had some games at that point. Judge Evie will have had her game, and I am next Friday running the Gravy of All Feathered Torment, which is the Web of All Torment, but reskinned
This
for
Friday?
30. Yes, Friday coming up.
You said next Friday.
Well, I feel like it's Saturday. I know it's not.
Nope.
So with that said, be safe, be healthy, be kind, and are you ready for your
I don't have one.
your outro?
Shoot.
You don't have one
I
at all?
Think of one. I have to think of one. I'm thinking.
You don't know one?
I'm thinking.
What whatsoever?
What? I'm thinking of one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's the
What? Just say your thing. I know what I'm gonna say.
Do you want to go first?
I never go first. No.
Do you want to go first?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna say I don't know what I'm gonna say now. I'm actually up in the air. I'm the one that's not sure what to say.
Wow.
So you go first.
No, I don't go first.
All right.
Pressure's on you this time.
I'm just gonna say, hey Shrubs, you best not be quitting Judge Evie's game, y'all.
I'm just gonna say, fishies.
What the heck does that mean? Because the walleye vision? What does that mean? The fish eye?
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.
No.